So the first thing I just want to ask you is just of your job role as an F1 mechanic and what that involves.
Well, I started in 1998 with Jordan Grand Prix. I was initially factory based and then moved on to the test team doing engine kitting and looking after the spares. And then I moved on to the race team. And in 2005, which is I think the race year we're talking about, I was in charge of all the parts for the cars and also the refueler in the pit crew.
The race itself, we're talking about 2005 United States Grand Prix.
Yeah,
It started off quite general, really. Arrived there, unpacked, I imagine, got everything set up, and then on during one of the practice sessions at what the bank turn 13 corner, Ralph Schumacher has a massive crash
yeah.
after I believe it was the left rear tyre on his Toyota failed, and then after that, Michelin did tests on all the other cars and found out that the tyre construction wasn't safe and it couldn't do full race distance. When that news was when that news came out, how did everyone react?
Well, I think sort of going a day before that, obviously we had running on the Friday, and I think there was various punctures and tyre issues for the Michelin runners on the Friday. Then obviously it continued on the Saturday, and then Ralph had his big accident. And I think Michelin then knew they had a serious problem. I think they also looked at putting a chicane in on the banking. Now, I can't remember whether they actually did or they didn't. I got an idea they didn't, because it was the banking, I believe, that was giving Michelin the problem. So on Sunday, we were all told that Michelin weren't going to race. As a crew, we were told. We were all pulled together before the race, and we were told what was going to happen. So all the teams knew that once the cars had left the grid and gone onto their formation lap, all the Michelin runners were then going to pull in to their garages and retire the cars. But obviously the public weren't aware of that, but the teams were.
Just expanding on that point about that notification that you got that the Michelin tyres, the teams I should say rather, that used the Michelin tyres were going to pull in the pits. How long before the race did you get that notification?
I think we were told probably an hour before the race, maybe a bit more.
Okay.
So on the Sunday morning, we would still be doing all our race prep and going about our normal day. And then as it gets closer to the race, all the team were pulled together and told that Michelin weren't going to race and they were going to pull into the garages on the formation lap.
So, as you mentioned, the race prep for the Jordan team, it was completely normal, like all the other races. Just do
Yeah,
make the last.
completely normal for us, preparing the cars, going over everything, and obviously dealing with guests on a Sunday morning from the paddock club. So it was just a normal race day for us, to be honest.
Okay. When the Michelin did pull into the pits, and it was just left with the six Bridgestone cars, so two Ferraris, the two Jordans, and two Minardis. The crowd in the main grandstands were understandably upset. There was a lot of booing, and over the course of the race, some fans went as far as throwing debris and their beverage onto the track. How did the atmosphere in any way affect carrying out your jobs during the race?
Uh, it was a little bit worrying, to be honest, because the fans were annoyed. Um, and F1 has always struggled in North America, so it was important to have a good race, but it was quite clear we weren't going to have a good race in respect to the fans. Um, yeah, they were throwing bottles and cans on the track, but at the end of the day, we still had our job to do, and we just got on with our job as normal. It was a little bit worrying what was going to happen after the race, whether the crowd were going to go a bit more wild, which they didn't, but it was a little bit of a worry. But for us as a team, we still had two cars in a race which we needed to finish to score valuable points, and we just carried on as any other race.
As you mentioned, your two drivers, Tiago Monteiro and Lorraine Kane, did finish the race in third and fourth place, albeit a
Yeah.
lap down on the Ferraris. What was the atmosphere like in the Jordan garage after the race?
it was good, to be honest, because we'd had a podium. You know, at the end of the day, a podium's a podium. You know, and for a team like Jordan, especially in 2005, we were struggling. We were struggling for money, and obviously when you haven't got money, you don't have the performance. So for us to get a podium was good. I know there was only 6 cars, but for us, a podium's a podium, and the team get valuable points, which gives us valuable money for the team. So Tiago was really, really happy to be on the podium. Narain wasn't so happy. I don't think he'd have been happy if he'd got on the podium either. But that's just how he was.
Okay. Why? Just expanding on the point you said about Narain, was he upset just about what transpired with the race?
I don't know about upset. You know, I said, "You happy?" And he said, "Yeah, ecstatic." You know, being sarcastic. I don't think he thought it was much of a race, to be honest.